He followed the exact debt payoff method 20 million people have used to get out of debt. It worked. It also cost him more than it needed to, and nobody warned him. Adrian Cole was 29 years old, and for the first time in 3 years, he felt like he had a plan. 4 debts. A $1,200 store card he'd opened for a mattress he didn't need. A $6,000 credit card that had quietly become his emergency fund for 2 years running. A $7,000 personal loan from a rough patch after a layoff, and a $14,000 balance on the car in his driveway. $28,200 total, and a plan that told him exactly what order to attack it in. 11 months later, Adrian would still be in debt, right on schedule actually, but he'd also be $396 further behind than he needed to be, and he wouldn't find out why until we ran the numbers for him. This is an audit of one specific piece of advice, the debt snowball method. Pay off your debt's smallest balance first, regardless of interest rate, a strategy popularized by radio host and author Dave Ramsey and followed, by his own organization's estimate, by millions of households working through his 7 Baby Steps program. We're going to find out exactly what that one rule costs and exactly who it's actually built for. Here's what Ramsey's plan says precisely. Baby Step 1, save a $1,000 starter emergency fund. Baby Step 2, list every debt except your mortgage from smallest balance to largest and attack the smallest one first with every spare dollar, while paying only the minimums on everything else. When the smallest is gone, roll that entire payment into the next smallest. Ignore the interest rates completely. That last part is the one worth stopping on. Not consider the interest rate. Ignore it. For Adrian, that meant this order. The $1,200 store card first, then the $6,000 credit card, then the $7,000 personal loan, then the $14,000 car. Notice what's missing from that list. The store card carried 9% interest. The credit card sitting in position 2 carried 26%. Under the snowball, the cheapest debt in the entire pile gets attacked first, and the most expensive one waits its turn. On the surface, that sounds like it can't possibly be the smart move. So why does one of the most influential debt educators in the country build his entire system around it? Because the math isn't actually the part he's optimizing for. The completion rate is. A study published in the Journal of Marketing Research in 2012 by Duke and Northwestern researchers David Gall and Blakely McShane analyzed real consumer debt repayment data, actual account closures, not surveys, and found that people who tackled smaller account balances first were more likely to eventually pay off all of their debt compared to people prioritizing by interest rate. The effect wasn't small. Early, visible progress predicted follow-through. That finding is genuinely inconvenient for anyone who wants a clean answer here because it means the wrong math can produce the right outcome if the alternative is a technically optimal plan that a real person abandons in month 4. This is where most coverage of debt snowball versus debt avalanche stops. One video says Ramsey is right because people need motivation, another says he's wrong because interest rates are interest rates, and neither one runs a real household's numbers to see what wrong actually costs in dollars. So we built one. Simone and Wes are both 29, same income, same 4 debts as Adrian, a $1,200 balance at 9%, a $6,000 balance at 26%, a $7,000 personal loan at 13%, and a $14,000 car loan at 6.5%. Same fixed monthly minimums on each hot, $35, $180, $159, and $274, and the same extra $500 a month they can put toward debt beyond those minimums for a combined monthly debt budget of $1,148. The only difference? Simone follows the snowball, smallest balance first. Wes follows the avalanche, highest interest rate first. Under Simone's order, that $500 extra hits the $1,200 store card first. It's gone in 3 months. Then the freed up minimum and the extra roll into the $6,000 credit card, the one sitting at 26%. It takes until month 13 to clear it. Under Wes's order, the $500 extra goes straight at the 26% credit card from day 1. It's paid off by month 10. The cheap 9% store card, meanwhile, just sits there collecting minimum payments until month 19, because at 9%, there's no urgency to rush it. Here's where it lands. Simone, following the exact method in Baby Step 2, is completely debt-free in 29 months and pays $3,797 in total interest along the way. Wes is debt-free in 28 months and pays $3,401 in total interest. That's a $396 gap and 1 extra month for 2 people with identical debt, identical income, and identical discipline. The only variable was which balance got attacked first. $396 isn't life-changing money, but it's not nothing either. And it's not the whole story, because that $396 has a second cost hiding behind it. If both of them take the exact monthly amount they were putting toward debt, $1,148, and start investing it the moment they're debt-free at a 7% average annual return, and we check back at the 10-year mark from when they started. Wes, debt-free 1 month earlier, ends up with roughly $1,949 more than Simone. Add that to the extra interest Simone paid, and following the Snowball order over the Avalanche order cost her something in the range of $2,300 by year 10. Wham, not because she did anything wrong, not because she lacked discipline, but because the order she was told to follow wasn't the order that minimizes cost. It was the order that maximizes the odds she'd actually finish. Which raises the real question this video is actually about. Is maximizing the odds of finishing worth $2,300? For some people, unambiguously, yes. For others, just as unambiguously, no. The uncomfortable part is that Dave Ramsey's plan doesn't ask which kind of person you are before handing you the order. To understand why the Snowball method spread to millions of households despite costing real money on paper, you have to understand what happens to a person's brain under financial stress, which is where behavioral economics actually earns its keep here. Researchers Sendil Mullainathan and Eldar Shafir, in their widely cited work on scarcity, found that financial strain doesn't just make people anxious, it measurably narrows cognitive bandwidth, the same mental capacity used for planning, willpower, and follow-through. People under financial scarcity make shorter-term decisions not because they're less capable, but because scarcity itself taxes the exact mental resources long-term thinking requires. Layer loss aversion on top of that, the well-documented tendency, from Kahneman and Tversky's original prospect theory work, for losses to feel roughly twice as painful as equivalent gains feel good, and a debt payoff plan that produces 0 visible wins for 13 months isn't just less motivating. For someone already operating on reduced bandwidth, it can be the difference between finishing and quietly giving up in month 6. The debt snowball isn't solving a math problem, it's solving a bandwidth problem. And for a specific type of person, that's the more expensive problem to leave unsolved. Adrian didn't know any of this in month 4. He just knew the store card was gone, and it felt like the first win he'd had in years. Then, in month 5, his car needed a $2,400 transmission repair. His starter emergency fund, the $1,000 from Baby Step 1 dollars, covered part of it. The remaining $1,400 went on the only card with room, the 26% credit card, the one that, under the Snowball order, he hadn't touched yet and still had almost its full balance sitting on it. That's not a flaw unique to Adrian's month, it's a structural feature of the plan itself. A $1,000 starter fund is designed to absorb a flat tire or a broken appliance. Genuinely useful for that. It is not sized for a transmission, a hospital copay, or 3 weeks without a paycheck. And when a real household with real bad luck exceeds that buffer during baby step 2, the overflow lands wherever there's available credit, which under the Snowball's own logic is disproportionately likely to be the expensive card, since that's the one still carrying room precisely because it hasn't been prioritized yet. So who is the debt Snowball actually built for? It's built for someone who has tried to get out of debt before and failed, someone for whom the real risk isn't a $396 inefficiency, it's a 0% chance of finishing at all. For that person, a guaranteed early win that keeps them in the plan for month 14 is worth far more than the interest it costs, because the alternative isn't the avalanche method done perfectly. The alternative is quitting in March. It's built for someone whose debts don't have wildly different interest rates. If every balance sits somewhere between 15% and 22%, the order barely matters mathematically, and the psychological win becomes nearly free. It is not well suited to someone like Wes, comfortable with a spreadsheet, not particularly at risk of quitting, sitting on a mix of debts where the smallest balance and the highest rate are 2 completely different accounts. For that person, the Snowball isn't a safety rail. It's just a $396 tax on a habit they didn't need extra motivation to keep. There's a version of this that gets most of both. Some financial planners recommend a blended approach. Knock out anything under roughly $500 to $1,000 immediately, regardless of rate, purely for the quick psychological win. Then switch to strict avalanche, highest rate first, for everything larger. It captures most of the motivational benefit Gall and McShane's research points to without leaving a 26% balance sitting untouched for over a year, while a 9% balance gets the emergency budget. So here's the honest verdict. Dave Ramsey is not wrong that most people who try to pay off debt through willpower and spreadsheets alone give up. He is not wrong that a visible early win changes behavior. That part is backed by real research, not just his own experience. What his framework doesn't do is separate the person who needs that win from the person who doesn't, and it charges both of them the same price for it. For the person who has quit before, the Snowball is often worth every dollar of the premium. For the person who hasn't, and who's honest with themselves about it, that same premium is just money left on the table for no reason. Adrian finished his Snowball 29 months in, same as Simone in our model, he's debt-free now. The $396 and the extra month didn't ruin anything. But when we walked him through the numbers, his reaction wasn't regret, it was a question. Nobody had ever told him there was a number attached to the order at all. That's really the finding here. Not that the debt snowball is wrong, that it was never presented as a trade-off, a real dollar amount exchanged for a real behavioral benefit. It was presented as the answer. The actual answer is smaller and more useful than that. Know which problem you actually have, a math problem or a follow-through problem, before you pick the order. They're not the same problem and they don't have the same solution. If you've ever wondered whether another piece of widely repeated financial advice actually holds up once you run the numbers, that's the next audit.